Now I request Mr. Sebastian Markart, Project Director, Integrated Urban Climate Action for Low Carbon and Resilient Cities project from GIZ India, to share with us the C&D Waste Management Plan for Shimla, Himachal Pradesh.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. I think I'm the last one now, session number 10 of this very, very interesting and relevant series of sessions on construction and demolition waste. My name is Sebastian Markart. I'm the project head of Urban Act India from GIZ, German International Corporation. Urban Act, the project called Integrated Climate Action for Low Carbon and Resilient Cities, working for climate action in urban areas in the field of mitigation and adaptation, and is funded by the International Climate Initiative of the Federal Republic of Germany. Shimla is one of our partner cities of the project, and we with GIZ have a very strong cooperation with Shimla Municipal Corporation. And here the construction and demolition waste management sector has been jointly identified as one of very important action area, which called for joint initiative, joint action. And the presentation that I will now show you, I keep it also quite short and quick, really focusing on the most essential points. Based on the current situation in Shimla, we have developed concepts and recommendations jointly for effective C&D management system in hilly areas with a specific focus on Shimla. We will see now recommendations concerning suitable site selection, technology, operational model, and financing options. Existing scenario: no formal C&D waste management concept in Shimla is currently really existing. We also need to know that C&D waste characterization in hilly areas is quite different to other cities like Delhi or in the lowlands. Like in Shimla, any old building demolished has more wood and muck component, and there's a further challenge in hilly areas. The indiscriminate dumping of C&D waste has blocked or is currently always blocking natural drainage system and is contributing to devastating landslides that hilly areas, as we all know, unfortunately are regularly experiencing these days. Also explained that the C&D waste is also getting loose, is mixing with the soil, and then also becoming really an essential part, triggering and becoming an essential part of landslides. So there's really, in the hilly areas, a separate need to look for C&D waste. Special focus need to be given on that due to the specific composition on the one hand and the particularly hazardous nature on the other hand. Yeah, and for analysis of the proposed site, you see a number of criteria that we have used that is really important for selecting a suitable site for C&D waste processing plants, here particularly for the hilly areas. Obvious things like the accessibility, there should be a good road, not too far from the city, some distance to the next settlement, but we also of course have to check here, for example, the slope, that it is not too steep, the topography, elevation, and so on. And then, if you see the map here, where some potential areas have been identified. Apart from the location, one needs, of course, also decide on the technology. And there's so 3 possible technologies for C&D waste processing, as you might all know: dry, wet, and hybrid processing with the respective advantages and disadvantages. For the sake of time, let me quickly move forward to the next slide. We are having also 3 types of processing units that we have identified that could potentially work for Shimla and for hilly areas in general, considering the particular situation, space restriction, etc. But however, as you also see, all have the pros and cons, and we will soon jointly analyze with the city on which options we go for. What would we here recommend? So given the chronic water scarcity in Shimla, given the fact that there is already some earmarked land for waste management with some construction and demolition waste dumping also in Shimla. This is the burial site, which is already there in use for the disposal and would then also be performed as an integrated facility. And also keeping in mind the general operation stability, we would recommend setting up a stationary integrated facility at that burial site. Show it again here in the map. This is that one in the south left-hand side, which is already the existing site, the burial site, with a dry processing configuration that would represent the optimal technology solution for Shimla. And in addition also for particular bulk waste generators, of course, mobile crushing units can also be considered. And now after selecting the technology, also very important to agree on an operational partnership model, where there are actually two options here identified: the hybrid model and the public-private partnership model. Hybrid model is bringing the waste from the source, collecting, transporting to the processing site, all directly done. The C&D collection transportation by Shimla Corporation, and the private party is doing the setup operation of the plan, where you can also see here collection and transportation done by the municipal corporation, whereas the processing and the disposal done by the respective private party. Or we have the second concept, the more private-led, full private-led PPP model, where everything is directly handled and managed by the private sector, including the collection and transportation. However, it of course needs a strong public oversight role for the municipal corporation. You see here the direct actions and implementation is done by the private sector under the oversight of this case, Shimla Municipal Corporation. Again, here very quickly an overview on the SMC-led hybrid model and the private-led public-private partnership model. So main difference is that in the hybrid model, collection transportation is more public-led and is public-led, and in the PPP model, the regular oversight and the concession management needs to be done more strong by the municipal corporation as it is in the private hand. Additional deliberations here, it would be also a very good option to include neighboring ULBs here in the sense of a clustering model. So we're suggesting a 50 tons per day unit to be set up in Shimla, and those 50 tons per day also need to be processed, of course, to make the whole thing financially viable for the private party. And as Shimla alone might not produce as much, there is the general idea to invite also C&D waste from nearby ULBs and also places of touristic importance to really make this C&D plan work and operation and efficient. And yeah, this would be the ideal solution. In addition, also to support the small ULBs nearby, as they might not have enough capacities in resources to set up their own C&D waste plans. However, this of course also then needs, and we discussed about this also in the presentations before, the state intervention, as lots of horizontal coordination and understanding between the involved ULBs and further related stakeholders need to be there. Yeah, looking at the revenue streams, again here a little bit as a summary of the set, a hybrid model. SMC will collect the user charges, fees from the generators, and then the direct tipping fee paid by SMC for the private operator based on the amount of waste they receive for the processing, whereas in the PPP model, the private party collects everything directly from the generators, and in both cases, the entrepreneurial incentive, of course, would be the revenue from the sale of the recycled products, and also to promote even further the private companies to come in there. There shall be also a buyback arrangement set up by the respective local authority or state government. This again is overview on who is covering what in these respective two cases, two concepts. Here, I think also of interest is the capital cost breakdown for setting up this 50 TPD in a hilly region in Shimla with all the specification mentioned, with a transfer station also. We roughly calculated a 7.18 CR capital costs. Yeah, and here also I think also nothing new, funding options for such an exercise, central state urban missions, the PPP models, grants, state level initiatives, and then the self-sustaining revenue mechanisms. Yeah, and here we are having some general recommendations on the way forward for effective C&D waste management for hilly regions here, and particularly for our partner Shimla, in the fields of policy regulation, institutional strengthening, and financial management. And we have seen now, I think, the requirements for really the particular requirements for a proper construction demolition waste management in the hilly regions. And we have also discussed with Madam Rupa Mishra that will develop SOPs for construction demolition waste in general in hilly region based on our studies and experience in Shimla under the Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0, which then can be applied not only in other hilly cities in India, but also in the whole region, like in neighboring countries like Nepal, in Bhutan. So this is also where we then also can bring our good experiences and work from here in other areas of the region. So far from my side. Thank you very much.